Hello everyone, welcome back. So this is the video for the warm-up for lesson 2. So we're going to jump right into it. Hopefully, like yesterday, you've taken a few minutes already to attempt to try this warm-up on your own. They are designed for you to spend a few minutes trying to think about the problem on your own and come up with your own conjectures and ideas to get you started. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at this. We have a sequence. This does not look like the nice sequences that we had in the lesson yesterday. We've got some decimal numbers going on, but not a big deal. All right, so let's see what kind of questions they're asking us here. It says, what is the first term? Well, that's easy. We just go to the list and we look at the first number here. So the first term is 2. Really easy to answer that one. Now this one asks, what is the common ratio? And if you remember from yesterday, the common ratio is a fancy way of saying, what is it multiplying by? So by asking this question, they're actually giving us a clue as to what the pattern is. There's some number that we are multiplying by to generate this sequence. So this is a multiplication sequence. So if I look at the first two terms here, right, we've got 2 and 2.6. So there's going to be 2 times some number that gives us 2.6, and we need to figure out what that number is. That's going to be the common ratio. So this looks a lot like an equation. So I'm going to set this up as an equation. I'm going to say 2x equals 2.6, right? Because when we don't know a number in the past, we've used algebra and just said, hey, let that number be x. Let's solve for it. So to solve this equation, all we have to do is divide by 2. And those will cancel, so we get x equals 2.6 divided by 2, which is 1.3. So this becomes our common ratio. So I'm going to test it out, right? If I do 2 times 1.3, we do get the 2.6. You can test this in your calculator. If I do 2.6 times 1.3, we get the 3.38, right? We get that next term there. And again, like I said, you can test this in your calculator to make sure that 1.3 is working, okay? And it will. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set up my table here. It says complete the table and build an equation for this sequence. So no problem. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we're just setting up our table like the ones that we saw yesterday in the notes. And we already have the first 5 term values right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, the first 4 term values here. So I can just go ahead and fill those in. This is going to be 2, 2.6, 3.38, and then 4.394. All right, and then from there, I'm going to have to use this common ratio to extend the sequence. So if I take this and multiply by 1.3, I'll get the next term here, and that should be 5.7122. All right, then multiplying by 1.3 again, we should get 7.4258. Okay, and I think 4 decimal places is enough here, so we'll multiply to 1.3 again. We should get 9.6536. And then one more time, we get 12.5, 497. And then one more time, we get 16.3146. Okay, so now we have our table. All right, and next we're going to go ahead and build our equation. All right, so since this is a multiplying equation, remember the format that I taught you yesterday. Multiplying equations take on this form where we do the first term, we'll call it f of 1, times this b value, which is the multiplier, raised to the n minus 1. Okay, so this is first term, b is the multiplier. So I'm just going to note that here. And the b is the multiplier, or the common ratio. Okay, so we call this a lot of things. Okay. And we actually have both of those pieces of information already. So I'm going to go ahead and write my equation. I'm going to say f of n equals first term, which is 2, times our multiplier, the common ratio, which is 1.3, raised to the n minus 1 power. This is my equation. Alright guys, that is it for today's warm-up. So hopefully you were able to build your table and your equation and find the common ratio for a not so nice sequence here. Like I said, they're not always pretty, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have a pattern. Alright guys, at this point, go ahead and grab your notes and switch over to the lesson video.